I believe we are all called to. We have got to stay connected to the humor of the child. Christ has said, be like the children. Be in the innocence and the awe and the joy.
Absolutely.
Where there is so much gratitude and just the blessing of being present in life. And we've got to do that. And that's all of it. That's the humor. That's the profoundness. It's the sadness. It's all of the things that are part of living this journey.
Absolutely true.
True.
Absolutely. And I've got to tell you, because I loved reading your book, and what I love about it, you've done something that I've never seen another author do. You end each chapter with a heading, Getting Real. And it's like, let's cut to the chase, and you give 4 or 5 bullet points that summarize the essence of what you want the reader to take away from the chapter. So I was thinking, if you're up for it, maybe we could get real on the show and go through the essence of your beautiful, beautiful book. And I wanted to say the title because I like the title, Real Women Change the World, Letting the Good Girl Die So the Real Women Can Live. Yeah?
Right.
Well, of course, I say we don't die, we just leave our bodies, but that would wreck your subtitle. let the good girl leave her body. Nobody would forget it. Nobody would get what I'm talking about. So, and you said just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, she became a butterfly. So you're really on a mission to turn every woman into a butterfly. So could we go through the book and your method and, after we own that seat at the table, which is your intro, love the intro, where you really talk about I'm entitled to own a seat. I'm entitled to take a seat.
Right.
I thought of the 23rd Psalm, and I thought your religious background certainly informed you, if not consciously, in a preconscious or subliminal way, because I thought about the line in the 23rd Psalm, this from a formerly devout atheist Jewish girl, and I'm quoting the 23rd Psalm, which is nuts unto itself, but the line in there, He prepareth a table in the presence of mine enemies. And to me, that line says, you're supposed to have bounty. The Lord is giving you a smorgasbord, a table, a bounty. You just have to take your seat at the table. You don't have to say, well, now I've got to cook it, and where do I shop for the... Just let the bounty at the table come to you. Own your seat.
I love that. That is wonderful. I believe it completely, and it's just so wonderful. Yeah.
That the former Jewish atheist brought the 23rd Psalm into your introduction chapter heading, and it feels right to me.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the mindset, because I love the 5 points, the Getting Real 5 points. Now, I know even when you've written a book, it's sometimes hard to remember your 5 points. I can't remember, whatever bullet points I've got in a chapter. So, your first one is, do you know the beliefs that can sabotage you as a real woman? This is so powerful. Can you talk a bit about this?
Certainly. For many women that I see, it doesn't matter if they are CEO, C-suite members, or close to it. There is still this desire to be liked. There is still this desire not to offend somebody. Mm-hmm. Even folks who choose to keep getting offended by anything and everything. And these good girls take on this responsibility to make sure everybody is okay. We cannot do that if we're going to be real. If I say to you, it offended me when you said this, and it makes you feel bad, that feeling bad is not my intent. My intent is simply that you can understand what I find offensive, so that if we are going to be in relationship, whether it's in the office or in a personal relationship, we understand who the other is. And I'm not intentionally making you feel bad. So if you choose to go there, that's a choice you have. I just want you to know this is what offended me. And when you are frightened of saying that, when this real woman is so powerful in so many ways and yet frightened of saying something like that, what she ends up doing is playing small. And she keeps giving permission for that same situation to take place again and again and again. Having permission to certainly not be rude intentionally, to not be offensive intentionally, but to be present to who you are is imperative if we're going to have honest, healthy transparency in our relationships.
It's so true. And, the funny thing is, I always say to women, you don't have to necessarily play the stereotypic, hysterical, I'm crying, I'm losing it. You can behave in the same clean and direct and assertive way that men do in the boardroom. So like what you just demonstrated, I'm not like, oh, you really hurt me and I'm crying. I'm just calling it the way it is, very clean and straight.
The difference between responding and reacting.
Exactly. Now, then you say, in the Getting Real bullet point 2, have you developed a means of counterbalancing them when they show up? Here you're talking about what do you say to yourself, your self-talk, when the internal boogeymans wake up, right? What do you say?
And every one of us is a different message. Every one of us has different things that sabotage us. So every one of us needs to find a different way out.
Exactly. And then the third one is, what risks have you taken over your lifetime to succeed or achieve a goal? This is so important because you cannot succeed without taking risk. You can't.
Absolutely. We cannot play it safe. If you play it safe, you stay stuck.
Right.
To me, and what I've explained to my clients is when you reach a plateau that it's like, I have worked my life to get here. Enjoy that smooth ride for 2 or 3 months. Enjoy I can stop now and just enjoy the ride and catch up with myself.
And smell my success, but then we have to keep moving. Yeah. So speaking of moving, we got to take a break. I hate to do it. I'm not being polite about how I'm inserting. I'll be back with you in a moment on Love Never Dies Radio.
I'll survive the trauma.
Yeah, I know you will.
Something missing in your life? Maybe you feel lonely and unloved, or your work doesn't bring you joy, or you're secretly jealous of others. Millions of people, even those who are successful and surrounded by those who love them, secretly feel empty. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf, and I want you to know that the real source of our discontent is disconnection. And connecting to others and feeling love to our core is the cure. But to really connect, you gotta get naked. And I don't mean drop and trowel. I'm talking about radical emotional nudity, where we expose our deepest self, warts and all. Being seen and loved in this vulnerable place is the key to unlocking the door to self-love, healing, deeply intimate relationships, vibrancy, and joy in every area of your life. Join me June 7 through 9 at the Art of Living Retreat Center in Boone, North Carolina. Get naked, get connected, and be radically transformed. To find out more, visit AskDrLove.com/live events. That's AskDrLove.com/live events.
Love Never Dies is now on the Dream Vision 7 radio network every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Dr. Jamie Turndorf, also known as Dr. Love, is the #1 international best-selling author of Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased. If you're grieving the loss of a loved one, tune in and find out how to reconnect and heal any unfinished business using Dr. Turndorf's groundbreaking new Dialoguing with the Departed technique. Visit AskDrLove.com to find out more.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
You're listening to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If you yearn to get along better with your life partner or spouse, friends, family members, and even coworkers, Dr. Turndorf's book, Kiss Your Fights Goodbye, Dr. Love's 10 Simple Steps to Cooling Conflict and Rekindling Your Relationship, shows you how to turn conflict into connection for a lifetime of lasting love. Find out more about Kiss Your Fights Goodbye at AskDrLove.com. This is Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. This show is for you, the listener. Once again, here's Dr. Turndorf.
Hello again, and welcome back to Love Never Dies Radio. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf. I'm having such a blast with my guest, Dr. Dorothy Martin Neville. So I didn't stop laughing through the whole break. I'm just enjoying you so much. We're talking about how to become a butterfly, how a woman can just step out of her caterpillar corpse and straitjacket and really become a butterfly. And we're talking about mindsets that block us. And I like one of your Getting Real questions here in the end of the Mindset, Chapter 1, where you talk about what happened when you did take a risk in the past. And that's so important, right, when you work with women, to look at what did happen, because there's so much fear around taking a risk. So talk a little bit about how that's helpful for women when they look at that question.
When they can look back over their lives and look at the risks they've taken, many of the things they now, because now they're comfortable in it, don't see as having been a risk. And yet when they took that risk, it allowed them to, as I visualize it, jumping off a cliff. They jumped off this cliff, they took this risk, they went to that next step, and they became more alive than they ever were before. So when I can talk about whether it was going away to college or applying for a position they were certain they wouldn't get, and yet they did, or going after something they wanted, whatever it may be, and allowing them to see how every risk they took made them more and more of who they were meant to be. Every risk they took allowed them to become more alive than they were before. And with every risk you take, you begin to see it's only a risk. It's not a life and death decision. It's only a risk.
It's wonderful. Wonderful. Now, in the next chapter, it's called Communication Skills. This is very important. Your first one is, most people don't even think about this. How do you communicate with you? What's your self-talk? What do you say to yourself? Are you your own internal boogie woman?
Yeah.
Right?
We become our own worst enemy.
Right? Scaring the heck out of ourselves, catastrophizing and futurizing and imagining the most horrific outcomes and just immobilizing yourself, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. But even in personal relationships, I'm too fat to be loved. I'm too ugly to be loved. I'm too old to be loved. What is the message?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was checking out at the Home Depot line earlier this morning, and I start talking to the cashier. And I don't know, this is how it goes, Dr. Darcy. I could get into a cab in New York City, and before my foot's off the pavement, he's saying, so last night the wife and I had an argument. I'm like, oh, God, here we go. So I'm at the checkout line at Home Depot, and this woman starts to tell me that she's with a guy who's a project, that she's very spiritual and she's always into self-growth, and she's shoving books in his face and he's not interested. And I said, well, you don't have a boyfriend, you have a project, Isn't it better to be single than so just sorry all the time? So she said to me, so here's the belief, well, I'm 60, who could I find? There it is.
Oh, God bless her. Oh, my
Isn't
God.
that? And so there I am at the Home Depot checkout, and I said, are you kidding me? You're beautiful, you're smart, you're this, you're that. And I said, go for a younger guy, I say to her. And I said, younger guys tend to be more, open and on the path of evolvement. And she goes, oh, yeah, but they're looking for mothers. I said, are you kidding? You don't think older guys are looking for mothers, too? I mean, and at least if you get a younger guy, you'll get laid more often. That's what I'm saying to her on the checkout line. Meanwhile, nobody's rushing me through the line. I've got to say, everybody's like, we want to take notes on this. Oh, God.
What a way to start their day. Yeah.
I know. So there we have it. All the beliefs, you can just turn them on their ear, and we need to in order to make a difference.
And you have to recognize, though, this is one of the things I work with my women on, and men as well. I do work with men as well, but this book is really directed towards women. It's the